Welcome to the Clifton Williams Show, presented by Justice Broadcasting. Gary Justice, glad to be on the ride with you this afternoon. And Coach, you had two conference games over the weekend, or this past week. Uh, go 1-1, drop the contest to Milligan on Wednesday, 60-57, but then go down to Tennessee Wesleyan to Athens, Tennessee, and pick up a 73-65 victory. Talk about the week, Coach.
I a little bit of a roller coaster, but I'm proud of the effort that our girls put in both of those games. We could easily let those games slip away from us and not have them remain competitive for 4 quarters, right? Um, I thought Milligan played well coming out of the gate. I thought we had a good game plan going into that game. Uh, Bitten with the injury bug, a little bit shorthanded. Um, we decided to go zone against Milligan, and I thought it was a good decision because now we take Samaj Clark out of the picture a little bit and don't get her into that role where she's got the ball in her hands almost every possession because they're going to look for her every time. And she's been highly productive this year for them. So felt like that was a good game plan. Our only concern, obviously, was rebounding out of it, and that's where we struggled with it. But good effort. We fell a little bit short. We had a really strong fourth quarter against them. So 3-point loss there. We head down to Tennessee, right? A couple of games. How will we bounce back? Because as a young team, you just don't know. We're still learning, right? We haven't hit the Christmas break yet, and we're still learning and trying to establish that identity. And I think we had a little bit of a hangover from that in the first half early on. I think Tennessee Wesleyan, got to give them some credit because they came out of the gate. They executed well offensively. I thought they ran their Princeton action really, really well. But we were committed to playing man-to-man in that game, right? So it was a little bit of adjustment for us coming out. And then the second half, I felt like we picked up the intensity defensively. Taylor McKenzie, Annika did a great job on the perimeter. Rachel Bush did a great job for us down the stretch. Sophie Atkins, Allie Stone, decision-making in the pick and roll. It was just a great team effort in the second half, which turned an 8-point deficit at halftime into an 8-point win.
So, Coach, going back to the Milligan contest, just one of those nights where the ball wouldn't go through the bucket. It was a struggle. Of course, Milligan kind of known for their defensive prowess a little bit as well. Both teams, I thought, focusing on the Bears, the defensive intensity your ball club brought to the table that night was amazing. And you got a Milligan ball club who averages around 80 points per ball game. You keep them to 60 on a night where the ball won't go through the bucket. But, Coach, you had an opportunity with trailing by 3 with the basketball in your hand with an opportunity for a tie when, again, very, very easily where the team could have said, you know what, it's not our night, let's go. But, Coach, a night where you get beat on the backboard, but your team kept on scrapping and clawing and trying to figure out some way there, Coach. And trailing by 8 in that second half, and I thought the defense kind of confused Milligan quite a bit because you held them to 5 field goals in the first period, second period, third period, only 4 makes in the fourth, Coach. When your team come out and scored 21 in the fourth period, so definitely a lot of credit to your ball club.
No doubt. When I went back, if you want to, let's focus on that game just a little bit longer. It's like when I looked at possession to possession, because it was really a half-court game. That game did not get into transition at all, and executing in the half court is the most difficult way to score in basketball. You're playing 5-on-5. You got a condensed space that you're working in. That's why teams like to run and get out in transition because that's where the easy buckets are, right? You have an advantage, 5-on-4, 4-on-3, etc. So when I looked at my decision making in terms of how we wanted to execute in the fourth quarter, there was one possession that I go to, where we had the game tied. Should we have gone to man in that last possession? I think about that, right? Like, how can I position them best? And then, my next thought was what we talked about earlier. Like, okay, if I go man here, I'm going to put them in position to get the ball to Clark in the middle of the floor. We had a little bit of foul trouble at that point, too. And it was like, let's ride it out. The zone's been treating us well. So.
Well, definitely, Coach. I mean, I would, you don't want to drop a game at all, especially at home, a conference game. But definitely, there's a lot of positives I thought coming out of the ball game as well, Coach. Again, the defensive effort, the game plan, execution on the game plan, going to zone definitely confused Milligan because they were all out of kilter the entire night. And coach, uh, and again, just watching them from a very novice standpoint, looked like he bounced back and forth a little bit from the zone to the man-to-man, which caused even more confusion, coach.
Well, we did in the second half for a little bit of a stretch. We probably stayed in it one possession too long. Remember when Clark had the and one in the I think that was in the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter. Um, so again, right, like how long do you stay? It's a gamble. So yeah, it did confuse them, and we were able to bring some ball pressure, create some turnovers, and get some buckets out of that. But got to be mindful of what they do well. And I thought, Clark, even on a down night, had 14 and 9. Campbell, in my opinion, is probably their second most consistent player, and just a hardworking kid. She's a great kid, and she was really, really tough and hit a big shot for them down the stretch.
And coach, going back to one last thing on that fourth quarter, as far as the sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Of the 4 makes, it was off of 2 offensive rebounds, off of long kicks, off missed shots from Milligan.
Yeah,
they got the offensive rebound off a long rebound. And was able to get a 3-pointer off that offensive rebound. Again, there's nothing it was just a long kick off the rim, and it's a little bit easier offensive rebound for Milligan, and they capitalized.
The ball bounces funny sometimes, right? And sometimes it bounces your way, and sometimes it doesn't. But let's take a step back and really, once we went back and looked at the film, right, and evaluated, our performance in that game, we felt like, with discussion and watching the film, it's, we beat ourselves a little bit, and it was about the glass, and it was about rebounding. What are the things that we can control, right? Could we had made multiple efforts on the defensive end and gotten 1 or 2 more of those rebounds or more? So putting an emphasis on those things, as we prepare, as we go back into practice, I can't let anybody forget just how young this group is and learning how to play at this level, and understanding that on both sides of the ball, we have to get it done together.
And to your point there, Coach, it is important to control the controllables. You can't control how far that ball is going to kick off the rim. Whatever you can control your effort, you can control your attitude. And
right.
Again, I thought our team stayed locked in, Coach, on Wednesday. And anytime you have opportunity to, and I thought the team in the fourth quarter, Coach, you scrambled around to create the opportunity. A couple of late turnovers, by Milligan to give yourself a shot.
It was a. You want to break down that the last 27 seconds of the game, and when we went back and look at it, we're playing the free throw game, right? Like we know we have to foul to continue to lengthen the game or to stretch the game out, and so we're able to get to the line on the offensive end, and get it back to 3, get it back to 1 possession, and so we get it to 3 again, right? They get a side out of bounds because they advance the ball with 9 seconds. And so we know we're going to put length on the ball, so we put Jaidi on the ball, and to pressure it. We want to switch everything if they get it in bounds, but Jaidi makes an unbelievable play. She not only gets her fingertips on it and gets a tip, but she's able to secure the ball. And so smart play. She doesn't try to put it down. She immediately turns and gets the ball to half court. 9 seconds is a long time, right, in terms of basketball. We can go down and back in 9 seconds on a sprint. So she gets the ball to Annika midcourt. Jalea runs the 3-point line. She's able to make the pass up, and we get a field goal attempt again. Like I think we had 2 down the stretch where we got clean looks at the 3. Certainly a questionable call at the end of a regulation on Jalea's shot. She got hit on the arm, but referees make mistakes as well. Actually talked to the head of officials and the crew about that, and certainly acknowledged that, hey, we missed it.
Well, and you talked about it, Coach. That wasn't the only play that. To your point, there, that wasn't the play that decided
Absolutely
the ball
not.
game.
That's just how the game played out.
Exactly.
And so, my conversation with the team after the game was there's not just one play. We can focus on that play, but we're missing the bigger picture. We're missing the learning opportunity if we do.
Well, Coach, again, it is you've taught me in the 10 years I've known you Every game is a learning opportunity. You're gathering data, and then how can we use that data? Um, and then you had the opportunity just a couple of days later. You guys hit back on the road after the finals, head down to Athens, Tennessee, and you go into again you go into Tennessee Wesleyan, a team who's Coach Smith got that club playing pretty well. They got some talented offensive players. Of course, again, anytime UPIKE is coming to the gymnasium, they're always a little bit more energy on the other team. And Coach Tennessee Wesleyan, they come out early on Saturday, finding the ball in the bucket.
It's when you let some of those young ladies put 10 toes on the 3-point line and get a good look, they're going to knock it down. They shoot the ball really, really well. And from well beyond the arc. Some of them shoot it well from 2 and 3 feet outside of the arc. What's impressive about them offensively is they have really good timing, and all 5 players are in constant movement. So it makes it tough to defend. I felt like they shot the ball better than Milligan did from the 3-point line. So the game plan shifts. And one of the things I was most proud of is like, okay, on a Wednesday, we're going to play zone for the majority of the game. On Saturday, the whole game plan flips. Now we got to go out and pressure the ball and do what we do. Can we handle all the off-ball movement? Can we cover the 3-point line? Right? Are we going to do a better job rebounding the basketball? Can we force them to score in the half court and keep them out of transition?
Hey, Coach, on Saturday it was again they were ready for the Bears on Saturday, and they wanted to punch up in the standings, and like I said, they found the bottom of the bucket a little bit. They had some talented outside shooters, and Coach, going into halftime and even through that third period, it's a 8-point deficit for the Bears. And I remember at this point, it's 55-47 Tennessee Wesleyan. I don't remember what the time point was in the third quarter, but your ball club scores the last 8 of the third period, outscores them 18-10 to come away with a 73-65 victory. So he closed the game on a 26-10 run, Coach. That's impressive.
It's we go in at halftime, and we did not play well, I felt, as a team. We had some individuals who had played well, but we didn't play well as a team on either side of the ball. And so that was the discussion, right? Like, okay, we look around the room. Like, I'll take you into the locker room, and I'll tell you exactly what I told them, right? We look around the room, and I looked around at each one of them, and I said, you guys need to look around because there are no heroes in here, right? You guys have to get this thing done together. When I looked through the stat sheet a little bit, the most concerning number to me was we only had 3 assists at halftime, which tells me that ball did not have energy. It wasn't flying around. We weren't creating for each other or finding the open player. And so that was a challenge coming out. It's like, we'll make a little bit of adjustment, but with what we're running, right, we made shift the action a little bit. But you guys have to trust each other. Get the ball moving, give the ball energy, and put some pressure on them defensively. Make them guard you because they cannot if you guys play the right way.
Definitely, and that defensive intensity came through because, again, about the last quarter and a half, Coach, I only give up 10 points.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
To watch the game, to watch it unfold, right, from that 55-47 mark, be curious to see exactly when Taylor McKenzie came into the game, right, because it was the combination of her and Annika that put us on that early run, right, that was able to close that gap at the end of the third quarter. I thought Taylor's ball pressure and intensity defensively shifted us as a group defensively. Because now all of a sudden Annika's up on the ball and she's an absolute menace on whoever she's guarding. You got Sophie Atkins jumping past the lane, stealing the ball, and we created 20 turnovers and we hardly pressed them. So, the game plan to press them was on, made free throws or dead ball out of bounds. And that's the only time we're not going to press on a make because we can't get it set quick enough, right? They're smart enough to get it in and go. So, we played the percentages there, but it was on-ball pressure across the board, and then we rebounded the ball well. We rebounded the first miss the entire second half, I felt like.
Hey, Coach, I don't know how many points off turnovers you had on Saturday, but you had those 20 turnovers. And
I might be able to tell you.
Yeah, because I listened to the interview with Tennessee Wesleyan's coach during the broadcast, and he noted that. He said they turned us over, but they also capitalized on the turnovers they had. It seemed like maybe
Well,
20.
it was live ball turnovers, and that was the issue, right, for them, right? They were
Yeah,
turning the ball over. It wasn't going out of bounds. It was going in our hands, and we were getting a run out of it. So, I mean, 20 turnovers. I don't know how many in the second half. Uh, we didn't foul them. We were limited to 13 fouls. We wound up, +3 on the board. Now we're -3 on the glass for the game. So it was a great effort.
it was, Coach. Because
Well, Jalea Warren had 4 steals out of this, right?
4 steals, yeah.
You want to talk about her numbers, right? She was 9 of 13, 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. She had 4 rebounds, which is a big plus for her, right? It is. Like she's not known as a rebounding guard, and then 4 steals. So she stuffed the stat sheet for us when we really needed it. Annika had a huge game, 50% from the floor. Make great decisions in the pick and roll with 16 points. Finished well around the rim. Rachel only took 5 shots, right? She gets 9 rebounds for us, or 10 total, 9 defensive rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover. So 8 points, 9 rebounds, and we needed all of it, right? We really needed her. We put her on their best shooter out on the perimeter, and as a 4, that's a tough cover for her,
True.
right? So they were challenged across the board. I thought Allie did really well here she had 3 assists. She made great decisions in the pick and roll, hit a big 3 for us down the stretch in the fourth quarter. So good game all around. And then Sophie Atkins, 4 for 7. Tough.
Coach, you talked about Taylor, just the development of the players of our young roster as you get to this time of year, as the calendar gets to Christmas and you go into the second half of the year. And you still got 4 games until the second half of the year.
Yeah.
But Coach, like, and watching the game, like with Sophie Atkins, her aggressiveness, she's played aggressive all year, but it's like a different level of aggressiveness on Saturday. She played with a lot of confidence, Coach. She got the basketball, was going to the bucket, had an and one. You talked about the live ball still, took all the way to coast to coast, got the layup. She's playing with a different level of confidence. You have Taylor McKenzie, who has been a ball hawk all year, but now she's even getting closer up on those guards, putting probably some more pressure than Annika's. She's wanting to get to the rim every single time, and I think she was 9 of 14 on Saturday, Coach.
If you don't stay in front of her, she's a problem. She's got a really quick first step. She's strong inside. Tough player.
And you talked about Jalea, and Coach, she showed her outside ability last year, shooting over 40% from deep, and definitely she's had some big games this year. But she showed a different level on Saturday of scoring off the bounce too, Coach. She's not a catch and shoot person. There's a couple times she went off the bounce. She had a couple of step backs. Her game is really developing as well, Coach.
Making decisions as a pick and roll ball handler is part of the evolution of her game, right? You talk about Taylor, defensively extending the pressure, being able to defend without fouling, right? Like, because she's really physical the way she plays, and we need her to play that way. Don't get me wrong. I need her to play as physical as she can, but we got to be able to do it without fouling, and she's been able to do that consistently. She did a good job attacking the rim on Saturday. She didn't finish, but she attacked the rim. That level of aggressiveness is what we need. You talk about Sophie. Sophie's learning how to play college basketball, and the more she attacks the paint, the more the game's going to open up for her, right? The 3-point line will open up. We get her to shoot the mid-range. She hit a 2-foot floater on that and one, I believe, on Saturday. And
it's in the first half.
That's an inside joke, really. I hope she listens to this because she came in like we're doing skill stuff and shooting 1-foot floaters, and I challenged her to shoot 2-foot floaters, right? Like get off 2-foot, play balance because you can take the bump and still get the shot off. And sure enough, that she got one down on Saturday. So kudos to her. She had a big game.
Well, Coach, you talk about just learning how to play college basketball. Again, very, very, very young rosters. We talked about 2 seniors, 1 junior. Everybody else is a freshman or a sophomore. And so you have a lot of people who are learning to play. Now you played 7 conference games, and unfortunately Saturday was one of those. It's part of the unbalanced schedule. It doesn't count in the conference standing. And Coach Smith was very vocal at halftime of ICAL. He's in disagreement with the conference rule, but that's the whole thing there. But that's hopefully something we'll get it taken care of next year.
We,
Um,
we shouldn't be playing games that don't count. I agree with him,
yeah,
right? I agree with him 100%. Like it's we'll look at the men's. Let's really talk about this. Let's look at the men's schedule from last year. It
yes,
was an uneven schedule, right? Our men's team wins the conference. They use winning percentage to determine the conference champion. That was the format. I don't know why we couldn't have done the same thing this year because the schedule was already out. So might make some people mad at the league, but we all have opinions, and why not share them? So it's make it make sense.
yeah, and it's a thing as far as not really complaining because we won the ball game. Of course, you don't want to win, but Coach Smith will talk about it on Saturday. He's like, you know what? Because the broadcaster who was interviewing him said, "Well, it doesn't count against you." He said, "I'm upset because if we win the ball game, it also doesn't count as our win either." So
Right.
he
And
said,
so,
we playing games that doesn't count. It doesn't make sense within the
okay,
conference."
well, let's talk about how it impacts us, right? As a University of Pikeville women's basketball. So we also get a win. It doesn't count on our standings, on our side. And we wound up getting a player injured in that game. So now make it make sense, right? So we
It
play a
doesn't.
game that doesn't count and we lose a player for the rest of the season. So
It's hopefully the league can make it make sense and make some changes next year. But like you think, I know you're a big believer. Hey, we're going to play with the cards we got, as dealt, and we're going to
we
play to the best of our ability.
we've been next player up all year long, and that continues to be the mindset. Um, so yeah, you're 100% correct there.
So, Coach, you have a couple of other prove-it opportunities this week. As on Wednesday, you'll travel up to take on a former conference foe in Shawnee State, the Bears, who now I think they play are they in the River States now?
River State's conference,
Then River
yes.
States, they're off to a pretty good start. And then on Saturday, you could travel over to Williamson, West Virginia, take on the Rio Grande Red Storm. A couple of good opportunities this week, Coach.
Big triple header at the field house on Saturday. That should be an exciting game. I haven't been in there since they renovated the court. I know the next phase of that renovation is going to include the locker rooms up there, but I've run camps in that facility before the renovation, and there's a lot of history. Some of our former players whose family members who have played big games, they used to pack that place out and play basketball up there. So a lot of history, a lot of tradition. Should be fun on Saturday, and Rio's always a challenging opponent. Fast-paced game. They want to get up and down and score 100 if they can. So.
Well, definitely, uh, your ball club knows how to put the ball in the bucket there too, Coach. So that's if they won't get up and down the floor, I'm sure the Bears will be more than happy to accommodate.
We'll find a way. We will find a way. No
Co-
doubt.
Coach, my closing question for you here is, I always love to hear your thoughts on what do you want to see your team continue doing, and what areas do you want to see the ball club improve?
I think we talk about all the shifting game plans and how they've been able to adapt from game to game. Right, playing zone, we shift the next game, we're going man. We may run a different action on offense or tweak something that we're doing. Their ability to remain coachable, because that's what's required when we make those kind of changes. You have to be locked in and remain coachable, because we're just not walking through this in practice just to do something, right? That's going to be we're going to take this to the game. And so their ability to be able to focus in practice, learn it, and then carry it right into the game and go out and play it has been huge for us.
And Coach, something again, I'm seeing improvement through. And we can talk about the players' confidence, but also just the. I know too, you told me in the beginning of the season that this will come through. The free throw percentage continues to grow. I know you have a team goal of 80%. I think the team's up close to 75 now.
We're going to get there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just capitalize on those opportunities, Coach. And
Yeah.
I mean, the team continues to improve, and what you're doing with the ball club this year, Coach, is they're a fun club to watch, Coach.
They're a fun club to coach, right? Because they bring enthusiasm to the game. They have fun playing with each other. And what the players themselves need to understand, and what the fans need to understand, that each one of these kids is at a different stage of development in their game. And so we got to take them where they are. and they all develop at different pace, and at different times. So, what do they need to work on, where they need to grow, and the extra work that they put in, kind of determines the time frame in which that growth happens. But I'm having fun with this group. We've certainly had our challenges and adversity with the injury bug, but they've remained positive and get on to the next one. So been fun.
Well, Coach, they have a good leader, that's for sure. I know as far as the times of adversity and ball guess it's a ball game, right? And it's one of those deals of like how we're going to approach these things with us. Definitely when they say play ball, let's win, but also let's do it together.
Let's do it together. Let's get it done.
Oh, awesome. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this on Wednesday against Shawnee State, and then on Saturday against Rio Grande as well, and hopefully the Bears can pick up a couple more wins this week, Coach.
One game at a time. Let's go get it.
Let's go get it. So we appreciate you guys tuning into the Clifton Williams Show presented by Justice Broadcasting. And please remember, it's always a great day to be a Bear.